everybody. I'm Alfonso the cat, and today I am going to read to you from my story, Alfonso Goes Home, written by Jamie Talbot Lamb and illustrated by Missy Trent Lamb. How about we read the first 3 chapters? Let's get started. Chapter 1, Survivor. Alfonso was a warrior, a survivor. Raising himself on the streets of Brooklyn, he was a street-smart, cautious, open-minded, level-headed cat. His current predicament, however, found him in unfamiliar territory. He had scampered onto many truck trailers in his 5-year life in search of leftover scraps of food or to seek shelter and warmth on a cold New York winter's night. This time, the trailer door had closed behind him, trapping him inside a 53-foot metal cage. The truck had been traveling for many hours. It seemed as if it would never stop, and when it occasionally did, the stops were very brief, a few hours at most. The semi-truck was traveling fast, and the air that entered through the vents in his 53-foot steel prison had an unfamiliar smell. Alfonso knew that he was no longer in his beloved city. With every turn of those 18 wheels, Alfonso was moving farther and farther from his home and from all that he knew and loved. Alfonso reminded himself that he was an open-minded cat and tried to embrace the idea that this would be an exciting adventure and that he would be home soon, very soon. Chapter 2, Accidental Adventure. The 18-wheeler rolled on for 2 days and 2 nights. Alfonso became increasingly concerned about the fact that he would soon need water. Alfonso was aware of the importance of staying hydrated. He knew that cats need 4 to 6 ounces or more of water each day. He also knew that 3 days without water was about as much as the feline species could survive. The truck was hauling jewelry and garments. Not a drop of water could be found on board the trailer. Back in Brooklyn, Alfonso knew every watering hole, and he was accustomed to drinking at his leisure. Alfonso was parched. Alfonso was worried. Early on the afternoon of the 3rd day of his captivity, the truck came to a stop. Several minutes later, the powerful engine could no longer be heard. Alfonso recognized human voices and, at last, the sound of the trailer door being opened. He positioned himself for escape, and as the heavy metal door was lifted, he leapt to the ground, quick as a flash, past the big, barrel-chested man who had opened the door. He hit the ground running through a large warehouse and into a wooded area. He ran and ran and ran until he could run no more. Chapter 3, Where is Alfonso? Alfonso could hear the sound of falling water in the distance, reminiscent of the sound of Bailey Fountain on the outskirts of Prospect Park. That is where he normally spent lazy afternoons napping or in search of leftover morsels of food, his favorite being sushi. Alfonso loved sushi. He followed the sound and came upon a small backyard pond with a gentle waterfall at the edge of the tree line. He carefully checked the property for predators and, seeing none, slipped into the yard and made his way to the pond for a much-needed drink. Water had never tasted so good. He next went in search of food, which fortunately he found in a dumpster behind the warehouse. He dined that afternoon on what remained of a most delicious ham and cheese sandwich with just a hint of mayo and spicy brown mustard. No longer famished nor parched, he began to wonder how he might get home. Before he could determine how to find his way back to the Big Apple, he must first establish where he was. It was warmer here. New York in autumn found the temperature pleasant. This was not the case in this foreign land. It was hot and humid, almost miserably so. The air smelled of salt. In the distance, he could hear an ebb and flow, a familiar sound, a sound not unlike the sounds of lower New York Bay, where Alfonso had spent hour upon hour fishing, hunting, and exploring. Alfonso was homesick, terribly homesick. Once again, he reminded himself that he was not narrow-minded. He was an open-minded adventurer. Alfonso slept that night beneath a brush pile in the small forest behind the warehouse, where he dreamt of sushi and Prospect Park. And now it's time for the lesson plan for chapters 1 through 3. So grab a parent, a sibling, or a friend, and let's get learning. Here are some words we read in the first 3 chapters. Do you know the meaning and the spelling of these words? Predicament, adventure, and reminiscent. And now, let's play the memory game. Let's see if you can recall some of the things we just read. How long was the trailer in which Alfonso was trapped? Do you remember how many wheels the truck and trailer had? Is Alfonso an open-minded cat or a narrow-minded cat? What does it mean to be open-minded? What does it mean to be narrow-minded? Do you try to be an open-minded person? Do you recall the name of the fountain on the outskirts of Prospect Park? Research online if you would like to learn more about Bailey Fountain. Are there fountains in the city where you live that might be fun to explore or research? Can you locate the borough of Brooklyn on a map? New York City encompasses 5 different county-level administration divisions called boroughs. Can you name those 5 boroughs? Alfonso's favorite food is sushi. What is your favorite food? Are you open-minded about trying new foods? You and your family might try a new restaurant or plan to cook a meal that you have not had previously. Bon appetit! Do you know what a predator is? What creatures might be predators to felines, which are cats? Learning is fun. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week where we'll continue on Alfonso's adventures.